yéeg nga li gamteel indi bees wax ba tas waaw dangay wax ba tas rek boobu laa la may ooteel wax ba tas
du def day wax nii rek
lu ko
nan wax ba tas lu kenn xamul bu biir bi ñëwee gën a xaayati lii mbay sa jàmm la
ku la wax ne biir bi dafay xaay lii di wax ba tas ngay wax ba tas te du la dikka dara ngay wax ba ne nërëm te du la dikka dara ngay wax ba ne rajax te du la dikka dara gamte la ko fi indi toogal fi ma wax la ñetti catégorie la nag nee ma benn bi mooy ban platinum 350 ngay joxe pour weer wi yëpp nag ngay wax ba tas koo bëgg a waxal ci laal laay nag ak jamono waaye itamit may nañ la 100 minutes nag ci ñi nga xam ne ñooy GSM yi ma ne network bu la neex rek nga oo leen ba 100 minutes nee ma ñaareel ba
You're watching the news on JRTS. Good evening and welcome. In the headlines tonight, development issues top the agenda at various open-air meetings presided over by Professor Jame in the North Bank region of the country. The Ministry of Petroleum moves to build a core of key stakeholders with in-depth knowledge of the petroleum product specification standards. Khartoum rolls out a number of belt-tightening measures to cope with dwindling income from oil revenue, less than a week after the South proclaimed independence. And in Egypt, Tahrir Square springs back to life as thousands of angry demonstrators dig in, threatening to stay put until elections are held. These stories and much more coming in the next half hour. I am Isaac Dabo. Thank you for joining us. His Excellency the President, Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya Jammeh, is touring the country to hear from the people and design his administration's interventions according to the aspirations of the masses. On day 2 of the annual tour sanctioned by the Constitution, the head of state addressed a host of meetings in villages on the northern bank of the river Gambia, like Ngayan, Sanjal and Kaur. Our Keba Diba is embedded with the tour party, and this is his report.
Development blueprint under the microscope. In the face of fast approaching yet time-bound domestic and international development targets and benchmarks. Several government retreats in recent times underscore the sense of urgency with which the Jammeh administration pursues its development agenda. There is no doubt significant gains are made in key areas of the economy, including the crucial social sectors of health, education and agriculture, communications and infrastructure, as well as gender parity and access to clean potable water. However, there is no cause for complacency as the success story is not uniform across the entire spectrum of development variables and targets within the context of the National Development Blueprint Vision 2020 and the United Nations Millennium Development Goals. Apparently, government has felt the need to accelerate the pace of transformation in order to stay the development course. The call for greater commitment to these fundamental development ideals has been amplified by the President in recent times, and Gambians being the object and subject of the development process have a frontline responsibility. This is the context in which this year's dialogue with the people talk. With 2011 being an election year, the President was quick to draw the line, insisting many a time that he will not go on the campaign trail. The timing of this year's annual presidential tour is not unusual, but some members of the opposition in recent newspaper comments raised concern over the possibility of the opportunity being used for politicking. Government officials, however, have dismissed those claims as misplaced and ill-conceived, arguing the tour is constitutionally sanctioned and that it is about development issues and not political campaign. A government that has invested so much in the welfare of its people has every reason to assess the impact of its interventions and the needs of its people and to explore more areas of possible intervention. On day 2 of the President's tour, meetings were held in Gain, Sanjal and Kaur in the North Bank and Central River regions respectively, where the President renewed his call for Gambians, particularly the youth, to take charge of this country's development process and its destiny by acquiring the crucial life skills necessary to power the country's unprecedented transformation drive. Greater agricultural productivity for food self-sufficiency and security remain the main thrust of the President's statement on this tour. My intention is to build a prosperous nation of a dignified people, President Jammeh told the captivated crowd. In a brief reference to the upcoming elections, the president again renewed his pledge not to go on the campaign trail for re-election, but insisted that the elections represent the battle of two opposing forces, progress and retrogression, and the choice is for the Gambians to make. But political commentators have hinted that if the development achievements of the past 17 years are anything to go by, then President Jammeh is likely assured of a landslide election victory come 2011. For the president, this is no time for politicking, but a time to talk tough and talk straight, because it's the future of the nation and its people at stake. Having listened to the concerns of the people, government officials used the opportunity to announce plans for more development projects, including the construction of major feeder roads across the entire country. At the Ngain Sanjal and Kaur meetings, significant numbers of opposition supporters announced their defection to the ruling APRC, premising their decision on what they describe as record-breaking achievements of the Jammeh administration. At the Kaur meeting, one of the defectors from the National Reconciliation Party of Hamad Ba, Hassan Boj, spilled the beans when he disclosed how he and others had influenced the outcome of previous elections in Upper Salem district by registering non-Gambians from across the border. The presidential tour continues with meetings in Bakadaji and Gambisara today in the Upper River region. On the line from Basse, Kebadiho, with the RTS News.
A two-day training on laboratory analysis of petroleum products, jointly organized by the Ministry of Petroleum and the Gambia National Petroleum Company, is underway. The Capacity Enhancement Initiative will expose participants to petroleum products specification standards. Momodo S. Jala was at the opening and he now reports.
The petroleum industry is arguably one of the most important sectors in today's world, with almost all sectors of development relying on petroleum products to function. Their rather indispensable nature, the world over, increases the demand for petroleum products, the Gambia no exception. The country's dependence on petroleum products steadily brought about an unprecedented proliferation in service stations across the country. A positive development that may be, but the authorities are sparing no effort to ensure that proper monitoring and control measures are instituted for the sale of quality petroleum products in the country. It is against this backdrop that the Petroleum Ministry is on the move to ensure that petroleum products being imported and distributed in the country conform to international standards. With the ministry already conducting periodic testing of imported petroleum products at both the storage depot, service stations, as well as Dakar-based international testing laboratories, the need for a well-trained personnel and laboratory facilities for conducting the tests within the country is just obvious. Sharif Horais was of the conviction that the forum could raise awareness on the significance of testing petroleum products. However, the lack of this, he warned, could result in high economic risk.
Actually, the testing of petroleum products is always a very important issue that all governmental agencies and companies and even private sector should be looking at. With the diversity of products which are roaming around in the world now and the complexity of the refining industry and the advances in the technologies, there are new products coming in every day, and the testing of these products to make sure that they are matching the specifications which are becoming tighter and tighter, particularly in terms of diesel fuel and fuel oil and gasoline and jet, which are very important products. Makes the testing of these to make sure that they are complying with the specifications and matching the needs of the countries and the specifications and the regulations of the countries, makes it very important. And without the testing, you cannot be sure what you are buying or what you are transporting and shipping, and there is high economical risk as well involved.
His comments were reinforced by an official from the Senegal office of the world's largest petrochemical inspection company, Grts, who underscored the importance of laboratory analysis of petroleum products. This capacity enhancement forum comes at a time when complaints of poor petroleum products are reportedly penetrating the Gambian market. With the seminar forming part of the many strides the Petroleum Ministry and the Gambian National Petroleum Company